is like a layout and a blueprint, how you have to pitch to your funders and how you will get the funds from them, and what you will do from their funds. It is like a roadmap. And a roadmap is something which will get you achieve your goals and objectives of the organization. So let's start with today's presentation on the art of proposal writing.
Mm.
First of
Yeah,
all, we have to understand why a document, or if it is a very light document where we don't, well, the proposal is a very important document, will get the funding from your funders and what amount. Before starting, let's discuss what is a proposal. What is a proposal? Whenever I say proposal, that means when you tell someone your wish to get something from them. As the lines say, a proposal is like a first impression, and it is the last impression on your fund. A proposal for an NGO is a document. It is a formal document which if we will be taking up what things and methodology we will be doing to evaluate the project, what objectives are there of the project, what is the methodology and what are the titles, how the budget will be defined. These all are the things which are there into a project proposal. So before starting, what is a proposal? Let us understand the basic difference between proposal or a concept note. Well, many of you must be confused between these two terms, what is a concept note and what is a proposal. When you go to the funders, like let's take an example. We go to a funder and we say, sir, I want a funding of 10 lakh rupees for my NGO to run the, let's say, breast cancer camp. Then the funder will say, you get me a concept note, and then we can start talking about it. You get your days long and you start preparing you get your budget done, you get your methodology, say, sir, here is my very brainstorming process. Then the funder just say and denies the no, I don't want the proposal. I wanted a concept note. So it is very important to outline the difference between a concept note and a proposal.
yeah.
A concept note
Mukul,
is a guideline to the proposal. Like first
Mukul,
a
1 second.
concept note is prepared, then the proposal is prepared. A concept note is generally of 2 to 3 pages. However, proposal is of 10 to 20 pages. A concept note is a brief how the project will proposal will work. So this is a major difference between concept note. As you can see into the table also, the difference between a proposal and a concept note. A proposal is generally a long and it is before
Sorry to
and
interrupt
it is
you.
after the
We
concept
are
note.
unable to hear you.
However, a concept note is prepared before the proposal. The content of
Yes.
concept note are very crisp, as there is a project
Mukul, 1 second.
overview, what problem you are facing in.
Yes, he's not looking at the
Yes.
chat. Mukul, hi. Sorry to this to cut. So I guess some network issue is there. Lot of audience are not able to hear you properly.
Audience are not able to hear me properly. Am I now audible?
You are audible, but in between we lost a few of the sentences and all. So it was yeah. I guess it is fine now. We can and please go a little bit of slow.
Okay.
Yeah. Can go a little bit of slow. Yes.
Okay, for that can be done and managed.
Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. So where were we?
Your voice is breaking again. Do you want me
Concept
to?
note and a proposal. So what is the difference between a concept note? Because before starting, where is it breaking? Just wait, give me a moment. Internet.
Do you want me to share a screen? I will share a screen and you can just continue.
If
Or
is
if you can,
if is it possible, you can share the screen.
I'll do that. Yeah. Or if there is a network problem, you can switch off your camera if you want. And, I'll just share the screen.
Okay, that will work.
Yeah. Just, yeah, correct.
Correct. The screen is visible to everyone.
Yes. Please continue.
Okay. So, shall we start, Neelam?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, we, we were at the concept of between a concept note and a proposal. Because whenever the funders, it is very harsh on us because we have spent on
Mukul, your voice is,
to
hello.
3 days to prepare that proposal, but the funder wanted concept note. Now, what is a
Mukul, your voice is really like breaking again.
I just do one thing. I change my internet connection. Now audible? How about it? Now it's audible.
Yes. We're getting a lot of suggestions as well what we can do. It's a technical list that happens. Thank you so much. Yes, you're audible. Please
These are
continue.
some.
I know it's so
Okay,
fine. It's
let's just continue.
no problem.
Okay.
Please continue.
So yeah. So what is the difference between a proposal and a concept note? Now let's talk about the detailing. Concept note is not a very detailed. It is a summarized format of what proposal the funder will get. It's used. It is used in the initial submission to explore the interest of the funder, like what the funder is interested into. Let's say you are getting a concept note created for a healthcare project, but then funder shows interest into a detailed healthcare of breast cancer or cancer awareness or legal aids. Then proposal is prepared for that. So a concept note is used to explore the interest of the funder, and then the proposal is drafted keeping in mind the interest of the funder. So that's why a concept note is a just summarized format. However, a proposal is not a summarized format. It is a detailed step-by-step submission what will be done into a project. Budgets are generally not disclosed into a concept note. You just disclosed a rough estimate of figures what it will take to get the project done. However, in proposal, you give a detailed budget note of what all will be done into a project. So these are the things you generally don't commit any timeline into a concept note, but in proposal, you commit timeline under what timeline, what time frame, what things will be done, and how they will be executed. So, in nutshell, how we can say a concept note is an initial document which is given to the funder. However, a proposal is a detailed document which is given to the funder to get the funding done. So here are some of the key elements of today's topic, master of proposal. These are the key elements which we have to keep in mind while drafting our proposal. Some of the elements are like there should be a title page, there should be an executive summary, a project or project background or rationale, what are the objectives of the project, budget, project strategy, project activities, project management and personals who will be conducting the project, how we will monitor and evaluate the project, and the project results and performance, what is the sustainability, and how to review and edit the project. Correct. So we will be discussing all these point by point. So let's start with the first thing, that is the title page. Now, when you start drafting a proposal, then the most important part when you do it is like the title of the project, how you will initiate the project, what will be the title, and there are some things which we have to keep in mind because it is the first page of the project. So let's say if we are writing a project for a cancer awareness program, or we are writing a project for education, then the project's title should be something which should be really catchy. If I just write education awareness program, it is not very much catchy. Like when I write the title of this PPT, then I don't only write the title page. I wrote title page, the face of the project. So when the funder gets some catchy lines like the face of the project, then it generates the interest of the funder, and he will be very eager to know about the project, like what is there. As they say, never judge a book by its cover, but a proposal is a book which is always judged by the cover. So there are few key elements which has to be kept into the proposal. Those are, there should be a title of the proposal, and the title should be very catchy. What exactly the purpose and the object of the proposal? There should be the organization name. What is the name of your organization and what are its objectives? A logo is advisable. If you have a logo of your organization, you can put it into the proposal. But if you don't have a logo, then don't put it. If your logo is also trademark, it is advisable to put the mark of trademark on the logo of your organization. Then there should be credits given who has prepared the proposal, because that will be the person who knows better about the proposal. Let's say if someone has created some PPT or some proposal and its name is not written, then the funder doesn't know who has done the research and who is the main mastermind behind the proposal. You should write the date, as this is a very important aspect. I want to share one of my personal viewpoint on this one thing. I give you a very simple example. We submitted a proposal for an NGO on, let's say, December 2024. But after 3 months, let's say in March, the funder came back to us and said, Ki, you have submitted this proposal in the December, and now we are finalizing it. Now the question arises, are the budgets going to remain the same? Are the scenarios in which we have worked, वो सब same नहीं रहेगा? It is not going to be the same. So the point is, whenever you prepare a proposal, if you have written a date over it, and if the funder come after on a later date and the scenarios have changed, then you have a plea before the funder that, sir, now the scenario has changed and the budget is different, the scenario is different, the targeted audience is different, or corpus is different, and or ask is also different. So that's why writing a date is very important. If you don't write down a date on which the proposal is made, then the funder may come later to you and say, no, you have committed me and I will provide you this much only and you have to do this for me. So that's why putting date is very important. Now, this is something, the donor name or the partner name. This is like a personal touch. Let's say if I give you an invitation card without your name printed on it, how will you feel? You will feel it like a casual invitation. But write down your name, like if I write down XYZ, Mr. Atul Babu or Mr. Rajesh Gupta or or Mrs. Neelam, then if the invitation is provided, it gives a little personal touch. And it is very important to develop the personal relations with the funders, because funders are not giving the funds for the first time. If they love your NGO and their object, then they are going to come to you again and again. So that's why it is very important to develop a personal touch with the funder. And if you write down the name of the donor or the partner name, then it will develop a little personal relation with the funder. Then the contact information. Now, as it says, it's very important to write down the contact information on the title page. So this is how, in this format, the title page should be drafted. Now, there are some tips which are written in the end, like the title to be catchy. As I said, the title of the project should be as catchy and as easy as the funder can easily relate to it. Ensure that the title is clean. Sometimes I've seen people using very vague and ambiguous words, listen line ambiguous words into the proposal, and it is very awkward for the funder, as a funder, just to read it and analyze it, like what kind of language is this. We always accept that people should use a clear language which should be very neat and clean. And one very important, sometime I've seen proposals coming, and it is good that you are using different fonts, but I have seen proposals coming into the font like Comic Sans MS. Now, guys, that is not a format which should be used while giving a title of the you know of your fund. Like if you are using a casual and a funky format, the funders will also take you for granted and for fun. The font should be something, it can be Arials, Times New Roman, Calibri, or Cambria. Those are good. Book Antiqua is good. So use clean fonts so that it looks good to the investor and eye tempting also. Moving to the next slide, the next thing is executive summary. Now, there are three questions which has to be asked while doing the executive summary. First question is, what is an executive summary? An executive summary is just a brief, it's like a preface of your proposal, what your proposal is all about, what your organization is all about, and it summarizes the proposal, what you are submitting to the investor. Now, there are three major questions which you have to ask while submitting the executive summary. Why, how, what? I again repeat, it should be why, how, and what. So let's examine each and every question here and there. The first question which executive summary answers is why. Why do you want to start a particular project? What is the particular problem so important? Let's say I am living in a village where there is a lack of education and I want the children to get educated. So I have this urge to start this project of education because right now, in my opinion, education is the only key for the development into my village. So that's how I answered the question why. Why I want to start this specific question only. Now the second question comes out how. How relates to the approach you will use to resolve the problem. Now, if I am doing a education project, then the question is how I am going to promote the education. Am I going to promote it by building educational institution or providing home tuitions or by generating normal classes, online classes? So what will be my approach? It should be an online approach. It should be an offline approach. So that is really important, which should be answered into an executive summary. Now, the third things which is important, that is what. What refers to the goal you want to achieve. Let's say by educating goal I want to achieve at least there should be 20 children in my village who should be 10th pass. So that is my goal, what I want to achieve. So these are the three important questions in the executive summary which you have to answer. That is why you want to do a particular project, and the second thing is how you wanna do the particular project, and third is what are your objectives to this particular project. Like there are questions which are generally answered in the executive summary. Why is the project important? What is the problem that you are addressing? How do you intend to resolve it? So with the example, I hope very much clear, because sometimes what funders do, they don't read the whole project, they don't read the objective, they don't read the title, they just go and read the executive summary. It is as simple as reading a novel. It is a very simple concept. When you buy a novel, you just first read the preface of the novel. If the preface really excites you, then you get into the novel and read it as a whole. So executive summary is like the preface of your project and the proposal which you are going to present to your funder. And if it is not a bang on and 5 on 5 executive summary, they are not going to turn down the second page for you. They are just going to simply slide the proposal and say, we are really apologies, but we cannot fund you. So it is very important to answer these three questions of the funder: why, how, and what. Now comes the main thing. After when the funder comes, they want to see the background. Like why you want to do these kind of project, what is the background of your project, what is the issue you are going to resolve. So writing a background is like writing a story of a proposal. What initiative, like if I say I want to write down a proposal on breast cancer, then I will not just simply start my proposal saying he it is the thing, it is this, that, XYZ. It is a very boring process to answer that. So first of all, I have to introduce to my issue. So if I want to introduce to my issue, I will always introduce this X number of women in India or in US or in XYZ country. They are facing these kind of problem and they are not able to open themselves to the things. So that's why this is a problem which we have identified. And this is the current situation in India. And these persons are affected and we are going to solve this by this. So that is the project background, how we are going to come up. It's like a storyline. So there are some important things which you have to keep in mind while writing the project background. First of all, in the initial paragraph, introduce to the issue. Like what is the issue of the project? What it is a healthcare, it is education, or it is empowerment, or it is legal aid. Whatever issue you think is the prompt, make the funder entertain from your issue. Then what is the current situation? Now, the best part to write the current situation is to take up the data from the surveys. Let's say I want to introduce my investor to the situation of education system into the India. Then I should tell my funders that this is the current situation, this number of students are there in this village, these number of students are there in this village. If you write down the stats into the current situation, it is going to give a ease for a funder to understand what's better and how it has to be done. It is very advisable if you can use the pie charts also for it. And who is affected by this situation, whether there are children, because I have seen a very weird proposal in my career where I saw a proposal coming from an organization where they were actually identifying there are young people also who are lack of deficit of education. And I was surprised. He actually targeted the people from the age of 19 to 23 and their lack of education. And the proposal all was about they will teach them how and skill development of their basic English, mathematics. So we have to target, we have to tell the funder who is the ideal audience which we are going to cater. So, what are the current efforts and intervention? What are the current efforts that we as an organization on our root level has put into the project? And what are the efforts and interventions, some of the done by the government? It is very important to identify into the background of a proposal that a government is also taking interest into it. Let's say we are doing an energy project. Now there is a scheme of government, Amar Ujala, which says about the solar development. So you have to write down about these things also, what government is also intending, how government is also putting efforts into it, or how other organization. Let's say we are doing some solar projects. I take the same example. Tata Trust is distributing solar panels also over there. So how other organizations are also moving ahead into it. Now, the urgency of the issue. How urgent is your issue? Now, this is the main point where you have to be like a pleader, urger. You have to show the urge, your fire to get the funding from for your proposal. Because if you don't show your urge to the funder and the importance of the project, how it is going to show the society, then no one is going to get your project. It is as simple as that. Either you have to convince the funder or you have to get convinced that you are not going to get the funding. So at the end, write the conclusion. The end statement should be that impactful that it should make the heart of the people bleed. That your issue is so severe and so urgent that it has to be taken care today itself. And if it is not taken care today itself, then it will lead to harsh implication on the society. So that's how the project background has to be written after the title, executive summary. Project background plays a vital role. Coming down to the next slide is the object of your project. Now there is a very small short form to write the objective of the project. Now you must be thinking, like we have written the background of the project. Now what is the objective? Well, there is a difference between the objective and background of the project. A background of the project tells the storyline, like what exactly the problem is, how the government is intervening into it, and the objective is something how we are going to develop it. So there are this short form which is SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. If you have cracked these 5 terms, then your objective summary is a 5 on 5. So, first of all, writing an objective for your proposal, you have to be very specific. Clearly state what project intends to achieve. Like if I want to intend achieve a solar energy panels for my locality, I have to clearly state energizing the locality from the solar power. If I want to spend on the education, then clearly specify spreading education in the villages. Which village, that also you have to specify. Location you have to specify. Then the second point is measurable. Like what are the benchmarks of success? Let's say if I'm able to bring 20 children into a school opened by me or an NGO, then it is a success benchmark. Then after 2040, so you have to mark the benchmark, because and the benchmark should be realistic. They should not be hypothetical, like we are going to give 100 children or 200 children. No, it should sound like it is an achievable benchmark. And there should not only one benchmark of achievement, there should be 3 to 4 benchmark into a proposal. Then achievable, ensure that the goals are realistic. That's what I was talking about. Achievable, the benchmarks are achievable. If you write down a hypothetical benchmarks into a proposal stating like I will do this, I will do that, then कोई point नहीं है ना, because you're not ever going to achieve that. If I'm a salesperson and I give my company a target of sales of 1,000 unit, however I am only selling 100 units, then it is not achievable, it is unrealistic. The salesman will get deprived and the bosses are at loss. So whatever you are measuring as a benchmark, that should be achievable. Then the fourth point comes out to be relevant. Align goals and needs identified in the background section. So you have to, your goal should be relevant. Like say I am doing a project on healthcare for ortho, but I am doing awareness and my relevance in the project is much about neuro, then there is no point. The whole point of the objective should be relevant. There should not be any extra talk into it. Third thing, for a fifth thing, that should be time bound. You have to define into the objective a clear time frame, in what time frame you are going to get it done. So these are the smart ways by which you can write down the objectives: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Moving down to the most important part of all of this, that is budget in a proposal. See, sometimes we have observed, this is a very common observation which we see, that people just come out with a very good project, but the budgeting is very poor. They are putting expenses too much that the project doesn't become sustainable, and funder has to question itself like, that much I can donate or not. So it is very important to budget your proposal aptly. There are some key projects, keynotes, which you have to remember while creating a budget. First of all, just make sure your budget should be in a tabular form. And with tabular form, there should be graphs also that will make your budget look very good. As simple, it is like as simple you can keep your budget, just keep it as simple. Don't make it much complex. Like if they are saying you there are overheads, then you are putting every XYZ things into overhead. Like keep it under the head of others. Make it like administrative overhead, executive overheads, and other overheads. Don't make it very detailed. The funders are not very interested into the detailing. The funders are interested much into the outcome of the project. So first thing you have to write in a budget is the total project of the cost. Okay. The total project cost you have to write down into the budget. Then you have to break it down by category. For example, personal, the management cost, which will be taken to do the program expenses. If you are doing events, that what will be the expenses of the event. Like when you're doing the events, they are not asking you to give the segregation of the tent wala expenses. How much the tent wala took. They just want a round of expense that quantitatively this much will be the expense of the event. Then travel, monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation, when it comes, it is very important. Like how you will monitor the expenses in the budget. Like you have put a threshold on the event, you have done a market survey, and you know that this XYZ event is going to cost me 10,000 rupees. So there is a benchmark or there is an indicator which I have set. Now, if the event cost comes out to be 15,000, then that is a point of evaluation why it is coming down to 15,000. So these are the indicators which you have to put in your budget also, and with the corresponding cost. Then the most important thing which usually people lack. I have seen proposals just coming down with some either orally in a paragraph, or they are coming down in just a tabular form. It is just a cherry on the cake if you put the pie diagrams and some bar graphs into your proposal budget, because that is going to enhance the visibility of your project. See, there are two kind of things. I could have made this presentation just on Word and shown it to you, but I have put on some color elements into it. I have put on some picture elements into it, relevant pictures to it. So that's why it is becoming eye tempting and you are able to read it properly. So if you put the pie, bar, and other indicators in your project, that will be very easy for the funder to read your budget. Now there are two major things which we call project strategy and project activities. These are the two terms which people are generally confused about in the proposal. Like what is a project strategy and what are project activity? Well, project strategy, as the word says, project strategy is how you are going to strategize your project, how you are going to build your project. And project activities are how your organization is going to react in organization, who is responsible for what. Those are project activities. So project strategy refers to the method that will be used in achieving the project goals. However, a project activity refers to the smallest identifiable and measurable piece of work planned for completion throughout a project. Let's say I have developed a method into a project about awareness generation, generating awareness about legal aid, like about right to information. I develop a proposal where my project strategy is to generate awareness by way of social media campaign of a right to information. So that is my project strategy. Ki I'm going to use the social media handles to develop the awareness among the people. Now, the minor part of that strategy is I have to identify in what all areas, what all cities I'm going to run my social media campaign, where I'm going to run my ads of the Instagram or on Facebook. Because let's say if I am running the ad of right to information in a state where there is a higher literacy rate, then it is of no use because people are already literate over there. But if I run my campaign into a state where people are not very much literate, then my project is at a par of much successful rate. So that is a difference between project strategy and project activity. You can say it like a project strategy is a bigger term. However, project activity is a smaller term of the same element, project strategy. There are some examples which I have written into the presentation. For project strategy, we can example awareness generation, capacity building, market linkages, enterprise development. However, some examples of the project activities are identification of widows into the village, conducting counseling session, conducting motivational session, meeting with families and guardians, awareness session on Windows right. Let's take a very small example. ConnectFor has a project strategy. See, today's webinar is a project strategy, but identifying the correct speaker for that is a project activity. So that's the difference between a project strategy and a project activity. Now, the most important point after the strategizing and activizing, the tips for writing project management and personal. It is very important for the funder to know who will get the things done. See, there are two type of people in the organization. One who are the face of the organization, the other who are the workers of the organization. The funders are also interested into the both. They want to know on whose face the organization is running and who are working for the organization. So in a project proposal, it is very much advisable to put the name of your all of your team members, and the name should be there with the photographs of the team members. Let's say in the end of the slide, if I don't put my photo and I don't put photo of my team who has helped me to create this PPT, then it is of no worth because you're not gonna get the corpus. Sometimes, see, it is a very common question which a funder asks to the NGOs. Like, sir, you are proposing me a project of 10,000 crores, let's say, of the or 100 crores. But do you even have the expertise or do you even have a workforce to complete this project? Well, this answer can be done in the proposal, where you will tell the funder that, yes, sir, I have high expertise people with me who are working with me rigorously into the organization. And what are their responsibilities in the organization? What is their role in the organization? And how they coordinate into the organization? And also it is important that they have very good qualification. Let's say some Mr. XYZ comes to the on the board of ConnectFor, and Mr. XYZ has been a moving director to one of the top NGOs in the nation. Then of course it is going to build the repo of ConnectFor also. So it is important to introduce the funder to your team. As I said, it is very important to develop the personal touch. The funder should know your team and the people that he will be seeing again and again and talking, and what are their roles and responsibilities. I think this is clear. Then coming to the last part, that is monitoring and evaluation. Now the proposal writing is done. Whatever we have wrote, it is done in the proposal. The proposal is over. But is the proposal over just by giving it to the funder? The answer is no. The proposal is not over till the project is not completed. Correct. So, in the proposal, you have to write about how you will monitor the project also, and how you will evaluate the project. What are the parameters? What will be the evaluating parameters of the project? That is generally called MNE. And in short form, it is called me. That is evaluating myself. Correct. So there are some key components in which me we have to realize, in MNE we have to realize for NGO proposal. That is
Hi, Mukul.
of blankets only able to distribute.
Yeah,
Audible?
Mukul, we missed. Yeah, but we missed in between.
Okay. Am I now audible?
Yes, you're not audible. Could you just repeat last two sentences?
I started again. No issues. We have time.
Yeah, just for
Okay.
3-4 seconds. Okay.
Okay. So when we are evaluating the monitoring and evaluation, we are preparing the monitoring and evaluation. It is a whole framework. And this is, let me tell you something, this is the most important thing for a funder, because funder is not going to, just forgot you by giving the funds. Then he wants to know the further roadmap and how you are going to achieve the target of that roadmap. So there should be indicators, like say indicators. I have an indicator that when 50 books will be distributed, it will be an indicator that my education propaganda is going well. When I will get XYZ number of students in my school, or I will get uh, XYZ ladies diagnosed. Like we were creating, I give you by this my personal experience. I was creating a proposal for an organization who were doing the scans for the cancer, right? Then they put an indicator that we will put a camp into a hospital, and on 500 scans, it will be an indicator that our project is successful. But unfortunately, what happened? I should not give a negative example, but this what happened. The scans were only 350. And as a proposal writer and as an NGO, you are also responsible for the funder. Not only the progress, but also demolition you have to address to the funder. So we went to our funder and we said, see, this is the scenario. We have only done 350 scans, and this is a benchmark which was set by us, which was a realistic benchmark and not achieved. So that's how we evaluation and monitored the project. Now, data collection is very important. You have to put the methods by which data will be collected into the project. Then how frequently you will be monitoring the project. Let's say if I monitor the project on daily basis of the scans, how many scans are done on daily basis, then that could have been a hassle task. I put my turnaround on weekly basis. Like on weekend, I will go to the place, different clinics where I have set up my camp, and I will collect the data and monitor it. Responsible parties, you have to identify who will be responsible what thing. Everyone into organization is responsible for something. In the proposal in the project, who is responsible for what? Then there is something which is known as monitoring process. You have to give regular reports to the funder. There should be a regular site visit. If possible, we always suggest to the NGOs to build a relation with your funder, and sometimes ask your funder also to come with them, come with you and visit the site where the project is actually going on. Because let's say I have this personal thing, the example just I shared about the scans. There was a thing could have gone better if we have communicated or investor, like the funder, you come with us to the clinics and you see that the women who are coming for the scans, they are coming in very less number. So it would have been really easy for us to communicate why only 350 scans happened when the target was of 500 scans. So there should be a regular visits for the monitoring of the project, a checklist and a survey. Do develop a system oriented process where you can easily tick down the things and checklist and monitor the activities which are happening at the project place. Now there is evaluation. Evaluate how your project has turned out to be, how the process is going on. Let's say I have done a project on distribution of blanket, and in between I evaluated that people are distributing the blankets on two-wheeler and motorcycles, but there are some places where they can deliver more than that if they take a four-wheeler or a tempo or a auto with them. So by this evaluation of data and collection of data, I can strengthen my project much better and enforce it in a better direction. Then there should be a data analysis and reporting. Like that's how we realize that blanket distribution done by a single person takes 1 hour, but he's only able to distribute two blankets. But if we distribute the same person a car or an auto, he will be able to distribute within 1 hour 13 to 14 blankets. So that's how the data analysis is also done. Now, after once the proposal is drafted and everything, there comes the most important part. Just forgot everything, get out of your cabin, take a walk of 10 minutes, come back to your table, and read your proposal again. That's all it takes to just identify your own mistakes. You will get to know, oh, this is bad. This is what I have done wrong in my proposal. My proposal is not sustainable. Because, see, you are not the only one who has given the proposal for that thing. There are n number of organizations who have given the proposal. Everyone has good objective, everyone has good heart, and they want to work for the society. But why only your project should be selected? Because your project is sustainable, it is realistic. So it is very important after writing a project to give yourself a break, come back and read down your own writing. See, I am very much sure if Shah Jahan would have been alive and he would have been Taj Mahal, maybe he would have made some alterations again, saying this is not perfect yet. So when your proposal is completed, don't be assured that it is the perfect one I have created. Read it again and try to find the flaws into it. That's what we call sustainability check and review and editing. And edit it again as per the. And one very important thing, edit your proposal as per the whims and fantasies of the funder. See, this is a very common problem. I'm sharing it my personal experience. We create a proposal, but what we are keeping is in mind is our mindset, like what we think हमको क्या लगता है, but we are not thinking how the funder is thinking. You have to think it in their direction. If you are aligned with the thinking of the funder, then your proposal is going to be aligned with him, and he's going to pay much interest and attention to you. So that comes to the end of my slides. Thank you everyone for being such a nice and patient speaker. I apologize if something have gone wrong, probably the internet connection, which I think, but I think everything is clear to you. If nothing is not, you can always reach out to me. My number are given over here. I would be love to help you. We here at Mukul Dusad and Associates create provide the service of proposal writing, budget creating for the NGOs and other organization also. Our number are mentioned over here, that is 9784 888 You can any day contact me. I will be more than happy to help all of you and your friends for any of your problems. So thank you, Neelam. I think you can take up from here. Anyone, if they want to write the number, they can write from the PPT.
Yes, I will share the details through email to all of them. Yeah,
Okay,
you
thank
can
you.
switch on. Yeah, you can switch on your camera, Mukul. Now we missed you seeing you.
Thank you.
Okay. Great, great. That was, I guess, a lot, very like insightful and very thoughtful. The session we had today. Thank you so much once again on behalf of Connect for Mukul for your time,
Thank
for
you.
the efforts you have put on. Yes. So, audience, if you have any questions, please raise your hands. We would like to hear from you. As I said, let's keep it more interactive as we can. Okay, you can stop your screen, I guess.
Okay, I'll stop it.
Yeah.
Status.
So anyone has any questions
Yeah.
or
So can I ask?
yes, sir,
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir, please.
Yeah, yeah. It was a fantastic presentation. I mean, who have enlightened us about the project proposal preparation. But there are corporates who are making their own proposal. I mean, putting their proposal format on their website, and the NGOs are supposed to fill that format. So, how to apply these principles to that format?
Sir, I would like to answer it with a very common Hindi phrase, which we say, "Nakal mein akal lagti hai." So there are a lot of formats which are available on the internet. You go to Chat GPT, you write it down by the AI, and they will provide you everything. Everything will be curated for you. But they are standard. What proposal wins the race? Which is tailor made. So they have provided you the format. You can fill the details into them, but you can also do one thing. You can put your annexures. You can put some additional lines into it, which will draw the attention of the funder towards your NGO much as compared to the other NGO. It is a simple concept of thinking out of the box. So if your project is little out of the box, it will draw more attention of the funders. It is good, and it is always advisable to go to as per the formats of the investor, but I'll say just put a little personal touch so that investors are also interested into you. So I think, Suhas, your query is answered.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mukul, and thank you, Suhas, sir. Any other question? Anyone else has any other questions? I mean, yeah, Mukul is happy to, take up the questions.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, can you detail a little bit about the sustainability of a project?
Sustainability of a project.
Yes.
Okay, remember, sustainability. Let's say I give you a project of something 50 years before going on Mars. That was not sustainable. See, sustainability is your project going to survive into the market? See, at the end of the day, we have to accept this fact that it is an open market where other bidders are also there and they are bidding for the projects, for the things. So sustainability should contain, like, what projections I have put, what budget I have put in place, what benchmarks I have put, what audience I am targeting, what objectives I have. They all are sustainable and they can survive by their own. Now, what SOPs, system oriented processes I have put in place, they can survive by their own, and the project is realistic. It is not a hyper or exaggerated project. Then the project is meant to be sustainable. Like, yes, if the funder put their money into it, then the project is going to work and it's going to be a successful project. See, if I, as a funder, I always think if I have given 100 rupees, then my 100 rupees should be fully utilized towards the development of the society. If the project is
Mm-hmm.
not sustainable and it is not going to finish the line, it's a race and it's not going to get through the finish line, then the project is of no worth. It is not sustainable, what we call in our jargon. So I think Rimba, that is answered.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rima, for asking. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, yes. Before that, Mr. Nilesh, Dr. Nilesh from Healing Hands Foundation has a question. I guess some his camera is not working, so he has written the question in a chat box. I'll just read it out, Mukul, for you, if you could
Okay.
answer it. Yeah. So he's asking that we find it challenging to bring like-minded donors as anorectal health is not taken seriously and generally ignored by many. So, are there any CSRs, agencies, or teams that provide support in such unique health awareness campaigns? What do you say? What do you have to say for this question?
Can you repeat it? Actually, it just broke.
Okay. So he's asking that since they are working for a healthcare cause, Dr. Nilesh Healing Hands Foundation, and they're working for like the something called anorectal health. Even I'm not aware anorectal health awareness for that, and it's not very taken seriously generally by many. That's what he's asking when they go. What I suppose is that when they go with a proposal to the CSR and the corporates, maybe that is getting ignored or not taken seriously for that. So he's asking, are there any CSR? Okay, it's a condition like piles, fistula. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, are there any CSR or agency teams that provide such support in such unique health awareness campaigns?
See, there are many CSR agencies and CSR organizations into the market. It will be not prompt for me to state name of any specific into the platform for them, but I will love to say about it. Don't go to those agencies. You just target who are your audience, and how they will be benefit, because see that's a major thing. If you're not able to target your thing, that who are the audience, and you are targeting someone else, then the arrow is always hitting someone else target. So you have to target it down. Maybe someday we can connect in person, and I can tell you some of the names, but on this platform it will be little tough for me to state some names, because it's not okay.
I absolutely agree. So what I will do, I'll connect both of you after the session over an email, and then you both can take it ahead however you wanted to help in that. Take it ahead, right? So next, Ashini Goyal has a question. So Ashini, if you're like there, if you want to ask the question,
Yeah, firstly, thank you so much for the session. It's been informative.
Thank
Um,
you.
I wanted you to expand a little more on the MEL framework. So, for example, like, do we talk about how have we been doing the monitoring and evaluation so far for our current projects? Or we talk more in that if I am pitching or if I'm asking a donor for this particular project, then how will I go about monitoring for that project? Yeah, just or like is it something else which you are trying to say?
Can you be more specific about what the project is about?
So we work with children with disabilities. Um, and like it's a learning center.
It's a
So
learning center.
yeah, one of the measures is of course like how are they improving testimonies from parents, students. But and if we want to pitch a project, so we should have those testimonies in place and how we have been monitoring so far, or it's more than that.
See, for educational project, the best way to monitor is, first of all, create a graph of number of students, how they have been increasing, and I would be just keep it more detailed, like from what region they are expanding much, of what gender much of the students are coming, and then the results of the students. That's how you can only monitor into a educational organization. There should be a regular visits. If possible, get your organization some external teachers also, and ask for their feedbacks also. So if you have taken session into our organization, how was the session, how are the student responding, and put their testimony into the proposal. That is going to make the proposal a little more lucrative to the funders because they will get to know much into detailed and a third person opinion about that thing. That's how you can monitor. And there are many parameters by which you can monitor, like the attendance ratios. You have to collect the data for all. It is a whole SOP which is created. Like a very common example, if we take many NGO shows that there are X number of students in their NGO enrolled, this and that. But when, as a due diligent person, we go to on behalf of funder and we ask a very simple question, like how many students are coming on regular basis. So that's how the monitoring and everything put into question and checked by the due diligence persons also. So I would recommend you to create much more specific data, put the testimonies of third person. You should also make your investor visit the organization again and again so that they can be much interactive with the children, and put as much as of photos as you can into it.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashni, for that question. I guess we can keep one more session on monitoring and evaluation. That could be another exploring topic we may have in future. Right.
It was just a light slide and we were in a little rush, so
I
I would
know,
have
yes,
taken much
yes.
time.
No, absolutely. That's a different topic
There are
altogether.
two topics, budget and monitoring and evaluation. They are two different topics which can be
That's true.
extracted out of these.
Exactly. We can definitely take it ahead. Yes, yes, Azharji has a question. Yes,
Yeah,
Azharji.
ma'am. Hi, I'm Azhar from Balia, UP, and
Yes, sir.
carefully I'm listening all the PPT. This is very good, and I think after this presentation, we will also request you to provide us on my email. But the one thing is no, in proposal, is it necessary to put the figures or photos?
So it is always advisable, not necessary. It is advisable.
Because there is two differences in CSR agencies and INGOs. They did not want any photos only in INGO, but CSR, I don't know. I have not submitted any proposal to CSR but I am going to submit to the Ajim Premji Foundation in this week. So, and just I am asked about myself that it is good for us to put any photos of the children, those belongs to 0 to 18 years as per JJ rule.
No, not it's not. It is advisable. See, every organization has their guidelines which are there. Some organization don't permit it. Some organization permit it. Generally, in CSR proposals, we have seen people putting photos. It is advisable also so that you see, pictorial representation is always much impactful as compared to a written representation. And if you're not comfortable with sharing the pictures of the children in your organization or the people in your organization, it is okay if you can put some animations or the pie charts and diagrams also. That will also work for your proposals.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Azharji. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I mean, it happens in terms of the children's. You can just put a smiley face on, smiley sticker or the image on their face, and then you can share those things. That's great. I guess we can wrap up here. A lot of questions, and in case someone has any specific questions for Mukul to ask, you can just reach out to us on ops@connectfor.org, and we were happy to connect both of you there. Once again, thank you, Mukul, so much for your time, and this was really insightful. The session will be available on YouTube, in 10 to 12 working days. And we will share the link also. So in case if you have missed, we want to just go and check, recheck again. You are always go to our YouTube channel and you can watch it there. Yes. And I guess the PPT will be available on the YouTube channel as well. So you can access the information from there. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, so let's wrap up. Thank you once again for everyone for taking your time and joining us today. And we keep doing these webinars on a monthly basis. So you can join our next webinar. I shall share the details also. And yes, we are happy to see you again. Lot of
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Mukul.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'll just I will end the session now. Thank you.